whatever that interaction, or however we might describe that interaction, if indeed it is even an interaction, is synthetic. A lot of the design principles around the consumer AI chatbots that we're talking about here um, are built so that there's very little friction or judgment. You know, as educators, as people working in schools, um, how to approach that, I suppose, is my question. When knowing and understanding that these models are readily available, they're easy to access, and they give young people that sense of ease when it comes to engaging with them. That's how they're designed. That's what they're built for. Do we really stand a chance?
I think what gives me hope is that young people are not fools. You know, I mean, they're young people are just humans like all of us, and there's a whole range in there. But fundamentally, when young people are made aware of the realities of what they're actually dealing with, particularly, and when they're made aware of things they care about, like the environmental cost, it increases. They are willing to increase the friction, if you like, and that they recognize. Certainly, some of the initial research of exploring this with young people seems to okay, they recognize the risks of frictionless communication. I think the challenge comes in where uh, we all have a desire for ease, and that's is what we are being sold with this. So it's we if we can increase their understanding of the systems they're dealing with, if we can increase their understanding of what are some of the risks here, what are you trading for ease as well. I think in the context of a lot of the thinking we've done around pornography over the years has been there is also an ease in accessing pornography in contrast to real sexual relationships for all sorts of ways. But you are trading. There are real risks to your ability to form intimate relationships in the future, as some of the research indicates. So again, with these chatbots, when we first spoke to young people about this back in 2022, they said like, if this thing's telling me all the things I want to hear, well, how am I going to go and like when I go and chat to my mates and they definitely don't tell me the things I want to hear? What's that going to do to my sense of what it means to be a friend? What friends are for, and that desire to retreat. I think the risk is, of course, it's hard to maintain a more frictionful stance. And if things go wrong for you in your life, if you're particularly vulnerable at a time, if you're feeling really low and there's a machine out there that will make you feel a bit better, albeit temporarily, then of course you're likely to engage with that. And I think that's a real issue. But I think where we have to start, which is move away from a haphazard introduction, have a more consistent from primary up to through secondary. Let's at least give children a chance by letting them know what these systems are, giving a sense of how they sit in our wider society, and giving them the support to know where they can get help if they are concerned about themselves or a friend. And we've got suite of lessons coming out later this term, so we're in the summer term, so sort of just before probably May, June. And that's again looking across the piece at the kind of ethics, the environmental costs, taking a rights-based approach, but very much delving into this question of what is it to form relationships with these things, and questions around, yeah, also the production of images and deepfakes and that sort of thing.